Levick, good to see everybody. Jan, good to see you. Everybody coming in here, welcome to Encounters. And we're going to be on here till about 12:30. I think 12:30. Good to have everybody. We're just setting up the cameras here a little bit. Welcome to our show. I think this is good enough for now. Alrighty, thank you for the gifts. Chesno, thank you. We're doing good. So one. Gina, hello Gina. Cassandra Rosa, Tinker. I think this is okay. We're just doing a little bit of an adjustment here on the camera. I think we want to go a little bit this way. I'm playing around with our camera. I think that's all right. So welcome to the show, everybody. Let's make sure, we're amped up here on the volume. Angela, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Linda Love, good to see you. Meowser, welcome. Thank you for the gift. This is CmdrAleon. For new people coming in here, this is our late night show, and we're coming on earlier. Larry, good to have you with us. Deborah, good to have you with us. Come on earlier. Mimi, good to have you with us. Good evening. Vincent, welcome. One Toyota 123, good to see you. Laura, Marissa, Janie, Shocker, Chesno, thank you for that little gift of the paper crane. Shormi, thank you for the roses. We appreciate all the gifts and all the good people here. You're all really part of this great show here. And also for new people, I'm the host on Sunday mornings of WESU's Cosmic Eye radio show for about 20 years, a show dedicated to the Ashtar Galactic Command. I'm also a contactee for new people coming in here since the 1960s. My first contact was with human beings that were in spacesuits in a spaceship hovering above a cul-de-sac in my where I used to live as a kid in Long Island, New York, back in the 60s. And that was my first initial visual contact with space people. Jenna, hello, beloved. Good to see you, Jenna. Summer Vibes, welcome to our show. The new people finding it, Magic Web 3.0. Mystique, thank you for the likes. Jenna, thank you for the likes. Jacob Hedges, welcome to Encounters. This is the most talked about UFO show on social media. We're sharing these shows on our Ashtar Command Spaceship News channel on YouTube. We've upgraded our YouTube channel, and now it is part of our Encounters TV program. All these shows, if you miss anything, you can go to my YouTube channel anytime and watch repeats of the shows we've had in the last few weeks. Also, we are putting these shows on our Facebook, and we have a lot of people that we're connected with there. Will Shai be on tonight? She might be on. We don't know when Shai's going to be on. I'm in touch with her, so she might be on. If she has something really needing to be stated or some top secret stuff, she'll come on. You never know. And Shai is our contact within the Department of Defense, and we've got a lot of great information from Shai. I'm just still playing around with the camera for some reason, but that's all right. And so if you're new to this show, we do have some contacts inside the Department of Defense. And our contact is really good. And also, for those that are new to the show, I'm also a contactee, like I said, from the 60s. That's when I started. I've had many sightings of what you call spaceships. Other people might call them UFOs, but I identified them as such. So welcome to the show, everybody. And we also, Rachel, good to see you. We're also going to, through the evening, we never know what's going to happen here. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for the heart, Susan, the hand heart. And we certainly ask you to support what we're doing here. You can go to my Cash App throughout the show. The Cash App is under the CmdrAleon 2022 profile page. And I don't know why everything seems weird here. Let's just do this a little bit. It seems like things are not where I want it to be. I think we're getting there. Okay, and Big Girl Storm, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Everybody coming in here. Rob, welcome to Encounters. And again, Encounters is the late night, Red Hot Artist. Thank you for the flames, the fire. And, this show, thank you so much for the roses as well. Levitt, Commander, I did catch you a little bit this morning. Yeah, I was on this morning for a little bit, chatting on another live and just getting in there for a little bit. I had some time. But I just want to let people know, if you go to my Venmo, if you have Cash App for Venmo, anybody has Venmo on your phones, a lot of people use it. It's my Cash App for the show and in general. If you go on CmdrAleon 2022, I would hope by the end of the night, we're going to be on till 12:30, 12:45, that some people will do the Venmo. You can make a donation on Venmo. It could be 5, 10, or 15, or whatever you feel you wish to Venmo. So hopefully my moderators, when they're in here, they can mention the Venmo link during the show so people know about that. Scott Gotthoman, welcome. LGB 2022, welcome to Encounters. David, welcome to Encounters. All the new people coming in here, welcome. You're just finding out about the show. Estella, welcome. Maryland, I think, is here. Let's see. B. Johnny. Paul Claiborne. I just want to acknowledge everybody coming here. Silver Fox 143. Debbie something. Flo, thanks for coming in here. Greg Smith on Encounters. Freedom of Speech, good to have you back with us. Adios, good to have you with us. Lisa Bailey, welcome to the show. Pinky, Joe DH. We had Joe on last night. Joe, good to have you back with us. Kurt Chillin, 226. Dick 9, user 577. Chesno, thank you so much for the likes. Good evening, Lisa. Silver Fox, Rob 13. Hi, Jay Niner. Good to have you with us. Wendy, hello. I'd like to acknowledge everybody. Names go so fast. Jalila, 29 something. J Dub, welcome to the show, J Dub. Gary 9325. Tim Smith. And also that guy, Polo. That's a good name. Kija, Alexander, Merriweather. Good to see you. Mystic Warrior, good to see you. And all the new people coming in here. Ron Cochran, I think it is. Let's see. All the new people. Anyway, welcome everybody to Encounters. We're just getting started. Adios. SLV GMS, welcome to the show. Kathleen, welcome to our show. Jacob Bond, or JC Bond, or something. Angel, welcome to our show. That's a good name, Angel. Elmer Bounce Malone. About HER, Seeking Paradise. I think we all are. And I'm private, but maybe if you do a YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna start using our YouTube a little bit more. We mostly post our shows there. Deborah, good to see you. Deb Hale, good to see you. Blessings and good evening, everybody. And we're gonna get the show started pretty soon here. I just want to say welcome to another night. Tammy, good to have you with us as well. I do have thousands to share. Interesting. Catherine, welcome to our show. Bill Bode, 98. Gary, 9325. What did you think of the hearings? I thought it was a beginning, Gary. I think there are going to be more things going on. I think the Senate and people in Congress are going to push back on the DOD. Our internal contact in the Department of Defense has stated that there is some pushing against the DOD's trying to stop anything from going forward, which is a good thing. That means that some of these people in Congress are not afraid, and some of the people in the Senate are saying, no, you can't do this to the people anymore, and we're going to go forward with these hearings. We're going to push for people to come forward in the Department of Defense and other intelligence communities. And they will. The whistleblowers are willing to come forward, and I don't think they're afraid to do that anymore. Diane 75948. It's echoing for. Is it echoing for others? I'm not sure what the echoing is. Hopefully, no one's hearing echoes. Charles Smith, welcome to our show. It might be your phone or something, Diane. So I think it might be on your end. You might want to restart your phone or something. I don't know. Johnny Miller, good to see you. Welcome. Marinay is one of our moderators. Chesno Marinay, welcome. I got some great moderators here. And they're always here to make sure we have no problems on this live TV show. We don't support having trolls here, and we'll take people out that are negative or people that are just trying to cause trouble. This is Skip to Grace. Good to see you, Grace. Another one of my wonderful people, Chesno and Grace in Connecticut with our C5 group. What do you think of Greer? I interviewed him in 1992 at the New Hampshire MUFON conference when he was just starting out. I did a TV show with him, and I think he, in many cases, is doing a lot of good things. Do I agree with everything he does? Probably not, but for the most part, his C5 app that he has, everybody should use it. We in our group, our Ashtar Contact C5 group in New England, we do our own protocol of contact, and this weekend we're going to do it at a place called Lyman Orchards. I left a message for the owner, who I know personally, and so we're going to be doing it. I'll be getting in touch with my group here. Chesno and Grace, you're going to know right now that we're going to be doing a C5 Saturday night, and we're not too worried about having any problems. Jawsman says, Commander, you remind me of Art Bell radio show host Coast to Coast. Well, that's a great compliment, because I remember going on Art Bell's show when he was alive, when he was living in the trailer. I one night called him up after 1 a.m. in the morning on the East Coast, and he put me on the air, and I was talking about the Ashtar Command with Art Bell. So, yes, we're going to stream, Nancy, we're going to stream live Saturday night. Yep. Lady Glitter Sparkles, very cool. Would love to see what that's like. Deborah Webster, after I was taken, I got pregnant. Do you think she's a hybrid? I think so, yeah. I think in the pregnancy, it is probably a hybrid. So I think she's definitely a hybrid, Debbie. Sorry, my chain texted that holding a baby. Have you heard from down the rabbit hole? Maybe tonight. I'm wondering how he's doing and faring out of that hurricane that was hitting that part of the coast. I got a feeling they're doing okay. Well, no, he'll probably be on tonight at some point. Tink Binks, good to have you with us. And let's see here. He went live not long ago, so he's probably okay. He'll be in. What does that mean, though? It just means that you have a child that is a mixed genealogy of both off-planet and human DNA. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's see here. No answer, laugh. Epsil, I think is it E Epsilon or something? Stacy, thank you for the heart. I'm just trying to read people's notes here, comments or whatever. So we're going to get into a lot of things that are going on. I've been really diligent about getting the show on YouTube so people that do miss it can see it. I think it's important. I know the people on Facebook are appreciative of me bringing it down there on my spiritual part of Facebook. So those are the three mediums, or the two other mediums besides our live here. Adios Snow, don't humans already have off-world DNA? They do. But when somebody has a encounter with beings that are taking them on a ship and doing something with being pregnant, as one of our guests was, there's more of that non-terrestrial DNA that's included in that person's body, so to speak. KC, Gen X, welcome to the show. We're drinking apple cider tonight, if anyone's interested. Hi, Commander. Sometimes it's me. Good to see you. Thanks. Yeah, I finally figured out, and I always wanted to do a still background. I figured out I was going too quickly, and I figured it out. So now we can do a still background and do this bigger background. Instead of my little picture of me, I'm doing the bigger background here. So, yeah, it's 50-50. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Jennifer, thank you for the roses. Down the rabbit hole, I'm getting a sense there's a rabbit hole here. There's a guy named Down the Rabbit Hole. James, my co-host, is going to be coming on live. He definitely live the hurricane. I know he did. James, good evening, brother. He'll be on. He's coming up the rabbit hole now. He's going to take him a few minutes to get there.
This is Encounters with CmdrAleon. Hello.
Hello there. You know, your face has changed. You look like a rabbit.
We are coming to you live.
Whoa.
Yeah, we changed things up a little bit.
Yeah, you look different.
Yeah, we're
He's outside.
gonna show the storm.
He's outside, folks.
Not too bad.
Well, last night when you're outside, we saw that UFO that was coming out of the thing. You know, when you pointed to it, it was there. It's on the recording.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's on the recording. It's on my YouTube channel.
I'll have to go check it out.
You'll see it, because if you see it from the recording, you'll see what people were looking at. It was really, there was some reflection of light on your camera, but it was easy to tell what that was versus your reflection when you were moving the camera. I'm really adept to, because of TV, being TV for a couple of years, I know what to look for, and it was right there and coming right out, and then it just went back out and faded.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is. So this is my co-host, James.
Did you get any messages from Shai today?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I got a message and a video to look at that somebody did something about it, and I'm taking a look at that, and she, I guess, was looking at it too. So did you get that? Did you see that?
Yes, and I read the report, the scientist report as well.
Yeah, very interesting.
So that's and they've submitted that to the House Intel Committee as well.
Oh, good. So if people don't know what we're talking about, I looked at a video that our contact in the DoD was looking at, and there's probably a way I have to save it here. I'll try to save it, and I'll try to show it here. But it shows this round sphere of what is apparently ET, from an ET technology or ET, what have you. It's just a really amazing video. And the scientists, I guess you would call them scientists, they examined it, and as James just said, it's being submitted to the committee that's dealing with disclosure. You'll have to see this. It's pretty amazing stuff. So we'll get that on here somehow. I might have to post it into Astar Spaceship News. I'll have to look at it again and also post it on the YouTube channel. So we know that's James and I know that there's going to be more hearings. Our DoD contact knows there are going to be more hearings in Washington, and they're not backing off from the DoD. They're not backing off from any intel agencies in Washington, and thank God they're not doing that, because if they were backing off, we'd be spending another 100 years waiting for disclosure from our own governments around the world. But they are going after, they're pushing ahead. The Senate's pushing ahead, and so is the Congressional Committee that's dealing with this whole subject matter.
Not gonna lie, it looks like something off of the craft from Alien, the movie Alien.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Christopher's saying time would tell more UFO news. Thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you, Levick. And we really appreciate you. Without the audience, we couldn't tell you the truth. So the fact is, this is the medium that I was guided to. I could have done any medium, but this is where I take my broadcast background and do a professional show here. And there's many other things I do on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. There's other things I've not done a lot of, but I can do. And I will start doing once in a while some of these healing sessions with my hand. And people have been, when I first started, I started doing these things, the hand. And I won't go into that too much now, but people that have experienced it know what I do. My YouTube channel, Dusty Mom, is Ashtar Command Spaceship News. Ashtar Command Spaceship News. And if you go there, whenever you can, you'll find a number of the shows now. 4 or 5 of them I've posted. And that's because we just started posting shows on my YouTube channel. We go live in the night, beam me up, Scotty, usually around this time, 10:30 or 11. And we're on pretty much nightly, I would say. Right, James?
Yeah, we're gonna start taking Wednesdays off.
Wednesdays off.
Dusty Mom, I think you have to type it all as one word when you're searching it,
Yeah, you do.
or
Ashtar Command.
check it out at the on the bio.
Yeah. Ashtar Command Spaceship News. And please, folks, as you're watching this show till 12:45, I really highly hope that people who can, have been blessed can go to my Venmo Cash App on CmdrAleon 2022 on my profile page. And my moderators, if you'll please put the link on for them to go there throughout the show, that would be great. Please just Venmo whatever you wish to Venmo to support the show. That'd be great. Judy Bowman, the show won't come up for me. Huh.
On YouTube.
Are you talking about YouTube? Oh, thank you, honey. Honey McReynolds is incredible. Thank you again. She is the beginner. She's the one who's now. Come on, folks. When Honey McReynolds gives me a galaxy, there's 112 people in here. I can't imagine
Honey,
some
Honey
folks don't have those
McReynolds,
points.
Honey McReynolds has that Ashtar money.
She has the Astro money, folks. So let's get some more galaxies in there. That can make a big difference. So who else wants to do a galaxy while we're getting amped up here? Angela, thank you. Honey is always coming. She always is. Honey's coming through always for this show. We love her. We love everybody, but we love what she does because she supports this show in a way that is really important. And you can also show your support, folks. If you don't want to do gifting, go to my Venmo. I'll announce it every once in a while here. I really want to push it on my Cash App. I think if you can do that, that would help. I'm hooked on you guys. I watch every night. Thank you, Carol. We love you. Thank you so much for being hooked on us. Damaris, everyone, can you
There's
show how
much
to
worse
heal?
things to be hooked on.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to do something right now with the palm of my hand on this show. If some people go to my Venmo app, I will do something with my hand that I do in what I call a healing session. I know James has seen me do it. I know some of you have seen me do what I do. I will actually show you what I do with my hand, the palm of my hand right now, if some people agree to do the Venmo. Now, who agrees to do the Venmo? Say yes, and I will do the thing with my hand.
Whoa!
I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to do something. Time will tell if okay. So Power Mac says they'll do the Venmo. How many other people are willing to do the Venmo? Carol says she'll do it. Sarah knows. Okay, so I'm gonna now. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go back here because I have this here. So if I go close, you're gonna not see my hand. So I'm gonna do it from here, but it doesn't make any difference. I want people to close their eyes who are gonna say yes. How often do you go on WBFO? It's WES. You think about the radio station? I think you mean the radio station. I'll get to that in a moment. I want to show people that said yes for the Venmo based on what I'm going to do for you. So I'm going to do something right now. I want people to close their eyes that said yes. And I want you to close your eyes and clear your consciousness right now on encounters. All right. So when you close your eyes, I want you to just clear everything out of your mind. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, or what you are. But I guarantee you what I'm going to do, you're going to feel. This could be something on the physical level, something on the mental plane level. Either way, what you're going to see right now, within yourself, you're going to feel energy. I'm calling on the Christ, the cosmic Christ, to work with me as a conduit for these folks. And then we'll get into our UFO stuff after this. Close your eyes, please. Clear your consciousness. Close your eyes. Clear your consciousness. What I'm about to do is something, for those who have not felt it before, you're going to have an experience that you won't forget too much sooner. I call on the Christ to work through me in humble service, the cosmic Christ to work through me in humble service, to help every individual that wishes to be helped. For those that said yes, we're taking out things that you don't need in your physical or mental plane right now. I'm just the physical conduit for what's happening right here, right now. Some people have a little bit of blockage. So in the head area, some people, your mind is being unblocked from clogged areas of your consciousness. Some of you might feel a little bit lightheaded. I'm feeling a lot of heat energy coming through me now. A lot of heat energy coming through me now. The cosmic Christ is scanning the bodies of some people. I can feel it. Scanning the bodies of some people. I can feel the energy going right through the phone here. Yes, I got so much heat energy coming through the palm of my hand into the wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. And that's it. So that was a few minutes of what I do. For those that said yes, I'm pretty sure you felt something. Yes. The energy is going to be penetrating into your whole body, into your consciousness. So those who said yes, in honoring of what I said I would do, which I did do what I said I was going to do, and that the Christ wants to do just a few more things here. I want to get into the whole UFO thing, but the Christ wants to keep doing this for a minute. So I will do as a conduit. So I'll ask you to go to my Venmo account. I'm closing my eyes for a minute to readjust here. Go to my CmdrAleon 2022. If the moderators will put the link on to the Venmo Cash App, please donate $5, $10, or $15 right now for this gift that we have given those that said yes. And I'm sure many more people felt it. Okay. I'm communicating that I need to be able to do this other stuff here. And I honor the Christ, and I'm a conduit for the Christ. So thank you. Can I heal somebody in ICU? I have no idea. I don't heal anybody. I'm just a conduit. I don't take any ego credit for anything. I never tried to heal somebody in ICU. I'm not so sure I want that pressure to be able to do that. And if I could do that, I don't even know if I can do that. So, but I'd rather not go that far yet. I don't want to have that responsibility yet because I'm not sure I'm even ready for that.
But we can send love and light and positive vibes and prayers and everything like that.
Yeah, we could do that. That we can do. That's a heavy responsibility to have to go into a room and somebody in ICU. And if I'm given that as a conduit to do, I'll know at some point. But right now, I'm just humbled in whatever way I'm in surface. Right now, we get back into, but I appreciate the question, and everything I do is in love. Everything James does on the show with me is in love of everybody. So we love you all, and we want to keep it real. So please go to the Venmo. We'll get started. I want to get up to 50,000 likes tonight. We're at 10.9. We can do a lot better. So let's get everybody involved. Share, like, tell people we're on here. The number one UFO talk show on any social media. The radio show is, I actually will put it in here. It's Sunday mornings at 11:30. Let's see. And that's the link, www.wasufm.org, NPR Pacific Radio.
And you guys can call in if you'd like.
Yeah, you can. James called in. He came out of the rabbit hole and called my show. And he sounded
He
like
had
a human
no,
being. He
he
didn't
had
sound like a
no
rabbit.
clue. My wife was telling me, "Oh, you should mess with him a little bit first." I said, "No, it's too early in the morning."
What's your friend doing? Oh, what is that? Susan, thank you. I've never
Whoa!
seen that before.
What am I
Wow, that's,
doing? I'm waiting for the storm to hit.
yeah, you got a lot of trees where you are too.
Yeah, not too many. Just
Is
this
there,
big boy right here.
now, are there other houses on that, are you on a street with other homes or?
There's a house right here, but there's not houses. Maybe 100 yards in that direction,
Yeah,
and maybe like 200 yards in that direction. And I'm on
okay.
a corner,
Oh,
so
that's nice. That's cool. And this is our co-host down in Florida. If anything happens with UFOs down there, he will see them. And we have, very much so. And if you want to be a guest on our show, you can, just by having over 1,000 followers. We'll have you on. If you have any ET visitations, you've never been on the show before, we'd love to have you on. We like to do interviews with people. This is a show where we listen to your stories too.
yeah,
We don't have any debates on here. We're not jumping over each other about their religions, their politics. We don't care about any of that stuff. That's all earth-based garbage. We're interested in knowing about what's happening with you on a very personal level, with contacts with the ETs, terrestrials. We've had so many people in the months since I've been doing this show who've had encounters with all types of non-terrestrial beings, star people, light beings, you name it. I've heard about so many different types of beings. And I think we have, again, I want to try to bring new people up here too. And Damaris is coming on. We have Damaris coming on with us.
oh,
Damaris,
welcome.
Hi.
welcome. Hey, welcome to the show. Can you turn your camera on?
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second.
All right. We like to have real faces on camera.
Here we go.
And you're watching Encounters, the late night UFO talk show, folks. We never know what's going to happen out there,
Wait,
with our guests.
I thought I fixed it.
I'm sure you got it fixed. You have the camera, right?
Yeah, and then what do I do after that?
You press the camera.
Here we go.
There you go. Now you got it.
Hello, welcome
See,
to
we
Encounters
got our
with
guests on here
CmdrAleon.
and James.
I've talked
And
to you guys on Robert's page, so I know
yes,
about you.
and now you're on Encounters.
Yes, I've had I've had many encounters and NDEs and a lot of interesting stuff. I've even seen Bigfoot, which I really want to share with you. But
Oh,
what
that I want to hear about.
Ooh, that's one of my favorites.
what I want to talk to you about tonight, if that's okay, is you were talking about bilocation recently, and I was in a coma 3 years ago, and I was totally experiencing bilocation because when I was in that bed, I can hear and speak to the nurse, but I was also in a whole other time, a whole other place at the same time, and I could kind of control myself in between both of them. But
Wow.
tonight, I it was earlier. I was tired. For some reason, I laid down with my head straight into the pillow, which is not really something anybody really does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did that, and immediately I started to get images, and I wasn't afraid. I've seen. I mean, I'm human. I've seen plenty of things that I've been afraid of, but I wasn't afraid. But what I was seeing was like a floor, and then I tried to look around, but it wasn't about me pressing my head against the pillow. It was like me forcing my sight into. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
had
it
to
does.
force my sight to see. So then I saw a table. It was like a home or a place where it was very pristine too, like brass and like gold, not shiny. Nothing was shiny. It was like very dim.
Mm-hmm.
All the lights were yellow. It was like very dim. Then I saw one little boy, which I call little boy just because it was small, but I don't know that it was a little boy because I saw people there once I started to get my vision to come to,
Mm-hmm.
and they were humanoids, but they weren't human.
Interesting.
They were dark colored. They were like a muddled color, and they all seemed to they could. It's like I was in spirit. They could see that my head was poked into their world,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't stand. Like I couldn't walk there, so I knew that I was floating.
Yeah.
And they weren't afraid of me. Some of them just walked away. One little small one came and was trying to play with me. Then at one point I looked to my right because I was trying to like scan everything. I tried to scan
Yeah.
so much so that I could remember. And there seemed to be a chair that was brighter than the rest. Like it was definitely gold, and it had like rubies on it. And there was a larger being on that chair that it wasn't the size of the others. It was a lot larger. So I thought maybe
Really?
it was a I don't know, a watcher or
Like a throne.
like when
What did
you would see a king that they
a
have like
king? What did
it
it look like? What did that tall one look like?
it wouldn't allow me to see it.
Oh, we
Every,
didn't really see it.
every time
Oh wow.
I looked over, it would see that I was trying to see it. So when I would look over, it would move over in the chair a little bit. And then at one point, I really made it like I took a force and I made a force to like look over and try to catch him by just try to catch him. No way. He moved even farther. Like he did not want to be seen.
Wow.
Yep. And then so I was like, okay, and I was sitting like there was like water, and the water seemed black because everything was so dark.
Yeah.
And the little boy was playing with what looked like a doll. The doll, like, oh, you know what? Now I know what the doll looked like. I was trying to figure out what the doll looked like. The doll looked like Sam, the Money Sam, the American Money Sam.
Okay. Not sure
Like
what that is.
the man that wears the striped hat with the stripes.
Oh, the guy looks like
Uncle
Uncle
Sam?
Sam.
Uncle Sam, yeah. My son just said Uncle Sam. So he was actually playing with the toy. It was like a stuffed toy that had like longer legs and longer arms. And it was, at first I thought it was, Bush. I was like, that looks like one of the presidents. And then I was like, wait, it's Uncle Sam. So that was odd to me how he was playing with the Uncle Sam toy. And then the woman was like really sweet. And it's funny because they didn't have their expressions on their face. It was almost like they had a mask on.
A mask.
It's almost like it was a muddled mask on their face. And she just
Wow.
she cracked my hair and she said, "Your hair's so beautiful," telepathically. And then she started like playing with my hair and playing with my hair. At that moment, I said to myself, "Oh my God, I gotta tell Courtney." Courtney is one of our weirdos too. You know, I call us all weirdos. And I wanted to call her so bad. So then my focus switched, and then it stopped right away. But it was so cool. And I know that sounds like way off and weird, but isn't that what this is all about, right?
Right.
They didn't.
Yeah, it is.
They were
Basically, yeah.
It seemed like there was no sunlight. I didn't see any sunlight or any light. The only light that I saw was the dim light that was around. So it was almost like it was like inner earth or like inside a rock or something in a cave, maybe.
Yeah.
But they didn't seem to be bothered. Like they weren't bothered by me. It's almost like a spirit, okay, and they just kept going about their business.
So you were in there. Do you know where you were? I mean, this is interesting. Like, do you know where they were, where you were? I mean, do you have any idea where they were from?
No, but
because you're entering their world, and so yeah.
Twice. I did it twice. First time I was able to see, and I saw a little boy, and then I got up. And the second time I went in on purpose, and then all this happened.
Wow.
And check this out. And then I called Courtney, right? And I said, Courtney, I'm going to try to do it again. I'm going to keep you on speakerphone. And then anytime I see something, I'll tell you. You know, just so I could see if it's like real time, right?
Yeah.
So I lay down and I put the phone down. And the first thing that I see, 2 shut doors.
Wow.
2 shut doors. Like, no way, you're not coming in now. And it's like, my focus wasn't on, you know, since I was like mid-conscious, like, you know, worried about Courtney, and then this, no way, they were not allowing it. They closed the doors on me. I was like, oh shit.
They're blocking you out.
Yeah.
They locked me out. They're like,
so after your coma, did you have any encounters after your coma?
oh my God. During, after, and even, I was in the hospital for 3 months.
3 months, wow.
So what happened was I had a surgery, and the doctor cut my pancreas by mistake, and all the fluid went into my chest cavity and my back cavity, and basically my lungs collapsed, and I was,
oh my God.
I got pneumonia, and I was about to die. I was dying. I was basically drowning, and they were treating all kinds of stuff, and they had no idea. They kept telling me I was going home. And then the next day, the next thing I know, I wake up in ICU, all intubated. And they kept me in an induced coma because of the amount of pain that I was in. But the stories, the encounters, I hate to call them stories because a story is a story, right? But an experience is an experience. I have so many that I think I talked about one, CmdrAleon, when you were on Robert's live one day. I'm pretty sure I did, but I have many.
Let's hear those stories. We want to hear your stories. That's what this show is about. So we want to hear your stories.
I want to write a compilation like of all my experiences, and I don't care. I used to be worried about it being not enough, like, you know, book wise. I want to write a book about like just all the different things that I write, because I do write a lot. Then I tell myself I'm not enough like a big book. What does it matter if it's skinny or big? It's the experience that matters.
That's right.
All right, ask away. if you have something specific to ask.
Well, tell us, when did you start having your initial awakening and your encounters with non-terrestrials? I call them, as a great way of using the terminology. Could be star beings, non-terrestrial. When did you start having encounters, and did they come to your home? Did you already? I get the feeling, in some ways in your life, you've had physical encounters in your home.
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember exactly, but I remember being a young child.
Mm-hmm.
I remember two instances specifically that I was definitely, I remember the first one. I was sleeping, and I was sleeping under a blanket,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I had what they call like sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
That's really scary. And I basically had to fight myself out of that. That was very malevolent because I've seen things since I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I didn't understand. I would call them demons and devils, but maybe they weren't. I didn't know that. The ignorance of things, but I know they would scare the hell out of me. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that in your life, this is Encounters, the spiritual UFO talk show late night with your host, CmdrAleon. Just for new people coming in here, I'm a contactee. I'm also, since the 60s, I've seen positive space beings, so I can relate to people's stories. I'm also a talk show host for over 20 years on WESU NPR radio, and we talk about these things. So Damaris is our guest. Have you had both positive interactions with the ETs, and have you seen both sides of the coin, so to speak? Have you been visited by both sides? I get the feeling you've seen it all. You're a pretty open
Yeah.
energy. And how did you protect yourself from those beings that want to come to you because they feel, oh, I can come to her because she's not blocking me out of her environment, so to speak?
They would come at me, like there was this one instance, and I would see things like movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I have visions, I see like movies. Sometimes with my eyes closed, sometimes with my eyes open. It just depends. But I remember, I remember feeling lost
Mm.
first, and everything was dark. I remember feeling lost first, and I remember like looking, wanting my mom because I knew I hadn't spoken to her, and though my mom is very religious and I am not, I hung on to her belief in God, and that's what kept the malevolent forces away from me.
Yeah,
The,
see?
the belief that I had. So when they would try and encounter me in a negative way,
Mm-hmm.
I would fight back. I was very strong, and there was just no way that I was allowing them to take my peace. Because first of all, I didn't know if I was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when it started, I just know that I couldn't hear anything. It was all dark, but I was traveling.
Yeah.
I could feel myself moving. I wasn't walking. I wasn't touching anything. I was a speck.
Were you traveling when you say traveling, were you traveling out of your body at that point?
Um,
Like like when people say they had a near death experience, they leave their body, but they can see their body, but they're out of their body in what I call the light body, or the other body within the body of the human.
one of the times I did see, I saw my body, but most of the
Mm-hmm.
times, like I would see myself, but I never turned around to see myself in the bed. I
Mm.
was always, I was always off doing something else. So I was
Mm.
so
Yeah.
curious. I was so curious. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? So
Mm.
when I say that I was a speck, I was like, I existed and I could hear myself talking, but I couldn't. I was just like a little speck in the air,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it was, it was confusing and it was frustrating because I couldn't communicate. I couldn't do anything. It's like I
Yeah.
was non-existent. I
You were,
existed with myself, but
yeah.
I was just floating.
Yeah,
And
you were
then,
floating and you were in a whole different space. I'm listening to your story
yeah,
and it feels like you're in a whole different space. You're in between realities and and that's what it was. You were in between
yeah,
the human reality
yeah.
and now
Because
you're
I
in,
would see my mom, and I would call her, and she couldn't hear me.
mhm. She can hear you. Yeah.
I couldn't communicate with anybody. So that was like very frustrating for me.
Hmm.
And then I would get a fever, and the nurses would come running in. So it all correlated together,
Yeah.
because I would get very anxious.
Mm.
But after that happened, I remember walking. Then
Hmm.
I was walking, and then it was all dark. I couldn't see anything. First thing I thought in my head was, "This must be the valley of the shadow of death." Right?
Yeah.
I'm not religious again, but I
Right.
was born and raised in religion, and so things pop up in your head, right? And I kept walking and walking, and I was talking to Source or God, and I was like, I guess this is it. I can't see anything. I'm not part of anything. I can't talk to anyone. So I guess I'm dying. And I said, Lord, whatever, for whatever I've done that has gotten me to this place, thank you for allowing me the time. And at
Right.
that point, I realized time was irrelevant because
Right.
there was nothing.
Well,
And
when you're in that state, Damaris, time is irrelevant because there is no time where you were.
yeah,
You know, and that means, and there's no such thing as really death. That's just
yeah,
a term that we use. When you leave your body, whatever that is, thank God you're still here. We're glad to have you here. But if you ever leave your body, you're going to be basically making a choice to go to your next body, which is many yous. Like I teach people, there are many different yous. Like the
yeah.
you here might not be the same you at the next level. So
So
there's many different dimensions to existence. And when you get to the next level of you, I mean, hopefully you're here for another 1,000 years, but if you get to that other level of you, you'll see that you will look like you, but in more radiant glow. So as you go more into the higher frequencies, your human body, and this goes for everybody out here, as we go into the next level of consciousness and the next level of our lives beyond this current reality, the other you will be more open, more enlightened, and even more loving than you can possibly think.
the
So,
felt like what I felt was
mhm,
infinite love.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's
And
because you were beyond time and space.
at that moment, I released everything, and I released everything, and I just said thank you. And then I noticed that the ground or whatever I was walking on started to tilt.
Hmm.
So slowly but surely, I started to slide because there was nowhere to go, right? So I started to slide forward. And as I was sliding forward, I looked up and I saw a wall. And it was a wall that I personally would consider like purgatory
Hmm.
because there were skeletons, there were evil things
Hmm.
reaching out for me. They were all trying to reach out for me. Every single one of them. There were hands, they were all trying to get me, and I was just like, in my head I said, okay, this is where I'm going. Like, this is it.
But do you think you have that experience? Like your reality of that is based on, did you have a very deep religious background growing up in some
Yeah, but
ways?
not Pentecostal doesn't believe, they don't believe in purgatory. That's like Catholic. So I went into my head and I was like, but wait a minute, this isn't part of something that I grew up in that would be
Hmm.
embedded in my head. And then you know what I realized? I realized that that was a scene of a movie that I had seen.
Well, from a
And
movie.
at that moment, I realized that we create our own from things that we have experienced.
Right.
We create our own like reality.
I was thinking that in my head. I didn't want to say, I wanted to hear it from you. You're
Yeah,
right. You created that reality, which
yeah,
means that it doesn't really exist.
no,
You created it from your reality when you were out in
yeah,
that in between place. those skeletons, that was just a creation of your own consciousness.
Yeah.
It wasn't real.
It was the exact same thing. And I remember thinking, why am I seeing this exact same? This is from a movie. I remember saying to myself during it happening, why am I seeing this? This is from a movie. Like, how does this correlate to me? And in that scene, those things were trying to like get the woman. So that's why I was like, well, shoot, I guess they're gonna get me too, because that's what they were doing to the woman.
Yeah.
At that moment, I felt two strong arms lift me.
Mm.
You shall not go here. And they
Yeah.
lifted me up and away from it.
Yeah. Well, those are probably the light beings, the more higher dimensional beings. So I'm getting some information for you to help you out here as I'm listening to your story. I want you to focus on always, first of all, I want you to, I'm not sure what the energy is like in your home, but definitely
Negative.
I'm getting, make sure you have crystals like selenite and other things in different places. I don't know if you have any crystals or anything. What?
I just went outside for 2 seconds with selenite, and I said, it's cloudy outside. I can't see the moon, but I know it's out here. And moon, I can't see you, but chart in my hand, and I have it right here.
Interesting. I said selenite and you have selenite. How synchronistic is that? So the thing is, you need to do, you might want to do a clearing of energy in your home.
Yeah.
And what I always do, I just did a smudging earlier in our house for a couple different reasons. And I just went out there. You know, sometimes you have to do that. But when you want, what?
Sorry, this house is my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother is very religious, so I can't get away.
You can't do that.
I'll try and smudge my room or my space,
Mm-hmm.
and all I hear is, what the hell is smoking? It's so annoying. So
Right.
that's why I say that it's kind of a negative environment for me as a light being.
Right.
Because all I want to do is light up and share my light, and I'm very dimmed here.
Yeah, well, you can change energy. Even with your mom there, sometimes one has to be the way shower for the mom. So, you know, I don't know how old the mom is, but sometimes even if she yells and screams or whatever, sometimes you have to just be who you are. And sometimes that means there might be a friction of conflict, but in the end, you need to do the work. So if you go around the house quietly and you know, just say, ask the cosmic Christ to clear all the energies in this home. And you can do that telepathically. You don't have to even speak the words. You can clear the energies out. And maybe it's going to be time for you to confront your mom in a beautiful way and say, look, I am who I am. I'm standing in my light and I have to do this.
Yesterday, I just told her that.
You told her that yesterday.
She said something like, she said something in regards to me not like being like her. And I said, Mom, God is my source too.
Yeah.
Just because I don't practice or do what you do doesn't make me evil. No, I said, it makes me completely different because I don't judge. I said, but you do. I said, and I'm not telling this to hurt your feelings. I said, but just stop looking at me like I'm an outsider coming in, because God is my source too. Just because I practice differently doesn't mean, that I'm odd or something.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful gift that I try to share with her, and it's just, and she has seen me. She's seen me channel. She has seen me sit down and be a medium for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows what I can do. And I don't like labels. I don't like to say I'm psychic.
No.
I hate labels. I just say I'm a light being, because that's what I consider.
You're a light being. That's exactly what you are. So you're doing it, and again, I would push you. She might be uncomfortable with, but just because, this is the thing, coming from Mars and looking at the planet and all these religions and people with their religions, and then they have family members that are just between the mother and father, and what are you doing this for? You know, sometimes you have, again, are the way shower where she needs to just stop doing what she's doing because she thinks going to church or temple, whatever. Many people do these things and they think they're getting connected with the creator, and they're not, because they're judging you when they're, what Jesus talks about. Jesus always talks about loving your brothers and sisters. He never talks about judging anybody. So
No,
the problems with
I
earth-based
pray meditate
churches,
all day long.
yeah, they just
Honestly,
do that. You know, they judge people. That's
I
not the
constantly,
teachings.
Most people find religion and never find God.
That's right.
yeah, and
They
I
did
just
find a
don't,
religion.
I don't want to be like, I am not a part of a
Damaris,
religion.
do you know what the Maloikia is?
That's wait, is that the Jewish?
Maloikia, like the stink eye? You know, like
Yes,
it's a
yes,
saying, like, oh, they're putting the Maloikia on you.
yeah. The Greek people use it, the blue eye,
No. It's not a,
or is it red?
yeah, it's like the evil eye.
Yeah. Sometimes people wear bracelets with it.
Your mom's putting the evil eye, the Maloikia on you.
The
Is she?
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? He's right about that. I don't
It,
know anything about these
and I
things.
didn't want to say anything, but that's why I've been quiet during this interview, because there's a negative spirit there.
Well, it's. I can feel it. I felt it
Yeah.
my entire life.
You can bust
And
it. You can bust it loose, Damaris. You see, if your mom was my mom, she would have a tough time hanging around with me because I'd be like, "You're not stopping me. I'm going to clear the energy here." You know.
yeah,
And you know, even your mom, even though she goes to church, she could be holding negative energy thoughts in her mind, which causes negative energy to be in the house. So yeah, you need to just kick butt with her and not put up with it. You have to just stand in your light. Don't let anybody,
no,
even your mother.
I've since the last like couple of days, I've been feeling a lot of downloads. I mean, I have literally physically felt them. Like I
Hmm.
can feel them coming into my skin. Like,
Hmm.
and it makes me feel like really really heavy. The last few days, I felt so heavy,
Hmm.
and I've just within me like, you know what, this is me,
Well, this
and
is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to preach to your mother, and that the Bible and the spirit realm. You'll always hear me talk about it. The fruits of the spirit. If she's not embodying the fruits of the spirit towards you, then she is not. She's not practicing her religion properly.
I know.
And that's my biggest thing with religion, especially the Pentecostals. I'm
Yes,
assuming she's Latino,
yes,
that that they think that it's the be all end all say all,
yes. And
and
that
there is
Christianity is
nothing.
the only
If
thing.
you anything that you talk about outside of the Bible or Jesus to your mother is going to be considered satanic.
Oh, I know what I told her. I said to her, I gave her a hug, and I said, "Mom, we are divinely favored." I said to her, and I meant that like wholeheartedly, completely. As a light being, I was just trying to give her light. And she looked at me and she like, "What does that mean?" Uh, I was like, "What?" I was like, "I was just really trying to like have a beautiful moment with you." And you're just
Yeah.
like, "What does that mean? Like I'm evil?" And that's when I told her, "Mom,
Yeah.
I God is my source and I am a light being, and I was just trying to express that to you." But then I just kind of walked away because it was just
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, well, you just have to be in her. I mean, I don't want to say this, but in some ways, you'll have to be in her face and just stand up to her like she's doing to you. She's going right in your face with her energy. You
Yeah,
need to counter that with the light energy and
yeah,
tell her, no, no more. It's the end of it. Stop telling me to go to church. Stop telling me I'm not connected with God, because you're the one who's not connecting with God. You're going to a religious church and you're not even connecting with the teachings of Jesus. So you got to be right in her face. Well, I
my
didn't want to
sister
clap
does.
my hands like that, but
My sister does the same thing. She's like the director of like the children's group at the church, so she's very into church also. And every single Sunday, she comes over, and her, and my mom, and my other sisters always want to sit and like watch the sermon for the day. And they always call me like, "Mom, come on, we're gonna watch the service." And I'm like, after a couple times I tried, but I was very bothered by it. And then now I just won't. Now I stand in on
yeah,
that. I told my sister, "Listen, I'm not gonna go to church.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need church to be with God. I talk to God every day. I meditate every day. I said, and I, like you, have like-minded people where I can speak about my heart and the things that I go through.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Do you
said,
have Do you have Damaris people in your community or any kind of places where you can go where there are other people locally that are light workers or people that are into the cosmic stuff? Or have you not met people yet? And they might not have, maybe there are people there, they don't know each other, you know?
I used to live in Sparta, which is I don't know, it's probably an hour from here. And I used to live near there, and there was actually I don't want to call it a church, but it was a place where like-minded people would go, and they would do evidential mediumship,
Hmm.
and they would have like all types of things. And when I found that place, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, finally some place where I fit in. Because all my
Hmm.
life I felt like I didn't fit in because I've been saying since I was a child that I was from Lemuria.
Hmm.
I didn't even know what Lemuria was. And I've
Yeah.
been saying that since I was a little kid. And then when I hear people talk about it, I'm like, crap, it's actually a place.
Well, you now have a community. I know you've been on my friend Robert's live and on here encounters. You'll find a lot of my viewers here and a lot of people that I've become friends with since last year. You have a community here too on our talk show where you don't have to feel alone. You're not ever going to be alone because
No, and
you
that's what I
always
told
have
my
people here
sister.
that'll connect with you and be happy to help you out, you know?
He's like, well, it's you have to. The church is more than one person. It has to be two or three so that it could be like a family. I said, yeah, I have that.
Mhm.
I said, I have that. And I thought that's the first thing I thought of Robert, and I thought of you. I said, I have that. So don't worry about me. I'm good.
You are good. You are good. No matter what your mom says, you are definitely good. Put a bubble around you. What I sometimes will do is if I'm in a place, I'll put an invisible bubble around me to protect me from other energies.
I shield
And it
every
does
day.
work. You know.
Every day. I shield every day. Every single day. And I don't know if you guys saw the last video that I posted. Um, this was last Monday.
Mhm.
So I was feeling very dizzy. As I said, I've been feeling very, very dizzy and like disoriented. We had ordered Chinese food, and
Mhm.
I was in my bedroom, so I had to go down probably like 15 stairs. As I was going down the stairs, I was holding my head, and I was like, "Wow, I'm feeling really odd, like dizzy." So I get to the
Mm.
front door, and before I could even close the door behind me, I faint.
Mhm.
You know how when supernatural beings are in the vicinity, technology tends to skip and get stuck. If you're talking about something they don't want you to talk about,
Mm.
it starts skipping and stuff, right?
Mhm.
Or it starts pausing or gets so the cam it was the ring cam. It wasn't even a camera, it was a ring cam. So it started to like get stuck and skip. And then when it came to, I was on the ground, and the delivery guy was saying, hello, hello, are you okay? Because I was unconscious. All of a sudden, another being appeared behind him
Hmm.
and was looking over me. And then it kind of gets stuck again, and you can hear like the talk. And then when it comes to again, you see like six other beings,
Hmm.
and they were all surrounding me. I swear that's my spirit team.
Wow.
And I was, I'm still like in shock. And then they kind of, they kind of surrounded me, and it was like they were making sure that I was okay. And I can tell you that I didn't, I don't know how I didn't break something.
Mhm.
I don't know how I didn't need stitches anywhere because it was like 7 steps, but they're high up, and I landed on concrete.
Wow.
Yep. So then my father saw what happened, and he's like, "Did you fall?" And as soon as he spoke in that moment, they all disappeared.
Mhm. Wow.
Yep. I was on Robert's live, and I told him, and while I was talking about it, everybody went out to look at the video and came back and talked about it. And he said I had to watch it like 5 times because he's like I'm like in awe, I'm like in disbelief. Because, you know, you see these videos of people catching something that's running and they can't see exactly what it is. Like, you can never see its face, you know, because they like hide themselves. And the way that you could see them, you guys have to watch the video, the way that you could see, it's like it's distorted, but you could totally see that it's like a person standing there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like grateful that I was able to see my my spirit team. Like, I'm so grateful. I feel so special, and it even makes me emotional because they protected me. Because when I got up, I looked at the guy and I said, "Did I fall?" Because I completely lost consciousness. And then I had a guy that decided to come on the live at the same time to say, "Oh, I work with cameras and I work with editing, and this video was totally edited." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What the hell?" And
Yeah.
Robert was like, "Dude, what are you doing? We don't, you know, like that's not what this platform is for.
Right.
You know, we don't like bring down, try to debunk." And I told him, I said, "Listen, if you're coming on here to debunk my story, it doesn't really matter. I don't really care. It's my experience,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful experience that I chose to share with my
Right.
fellow light beings. If you don't like it or don't believe it, move on ahead. Like, I don't know what to tell
Right.
you."
That's right. And you'll find, Damaris, on my show here, being a talk show host on radio, I use the same honoring on my radio show with guests as I do on my TV show here. Is that we have great moderators. If we have trolls here putting people down, we block them out. I tell my moderators get rid of them. We don't let any of that stuff on the show. We are very focused, laser focused, and we've had some great guests. And you're one of our guests too. Just to let people know.
I was surprised Robert didn't kick him out, but it was because I think that was somebody that has been his friend, like, you know, on his live for a long time, and he was trying to get it to, like pan out, you know, where it just let alone, but the guy kept going with it.
Yeah.
And then Robert's like, "Well, this is about, you know, her spirit team," and he's like, "Well, I'm not talking about the spirit team. I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about the way that someone pushed her into the fall." And I said, why want somebody to push me? Like,
Right.
it made no sense. It made no sense.
Right. You weren't looking to be pushed into anything. I mean, it's pretty wild. I just want to mention this is Encounters. We have Damaris. She's our first guest and beautiful soul. And I'm CmdrAleon, the host of the show. If you're new to the show, we're on late nights here on the radio, on the TV. On the radio side, Sunday mornings, you can listen to me on NPR Pacific Radio, Ashtar Command Radio, the Cosmic Eye, East Coast. And we have Damaris on here, my co-host James in the Rabbit Hole, keeping an eye on the hurricane as well. And of course, all of you great people watching the show. This show, by the way, is being recorded and it will be posted on my YouTube channel, Ashtar Command Spaceship News. So those that missed the show or only get half of the show, the whole show will be recorded forever. And also on my Facebook site, I'll be posting the show tomorrow morning on Facebook as well. So we have Damaris here. If you wish to join us, Damaris, stay with us here. We want to hear more. Your beautiful soul. If people have UFO sightings, encounters, please come on here. If you have 1,000+ people, we'd love to have you share your stories. Everybody's honored on the encounter over here. I'll show you, there's a lot of people with amazing. Oh, Robert, thank you for that, brother.
Whoa, look at
He sent that.
that.
Damaris, you got a beautiful gift from Robert, and he's
Oh my
another
God.
beautiful soul.
Whoa.
He's another. He
Robert.
sent the galaxy. Thank you, Robert,
Whoa.
for
Is
the
that our
galaxy.
Robert?
That's our Robert, you know.
Oh, Robert. Oh my
And when
God.
Robert's on,
Love
check him
you.
out. He's on during the day, or he's
Oh
on.
yeah.
He's on
I'm
whatever
all,
he's on. He's on during the day a lot when I have time to get on here.
he's on all the
So
time.
we
He's
send
on
him a
during the
lot of
day.
love for the light work and the galactic work he's doing to educate people. And
Oh,
down the rabbit
What
hole,
is that?
Robert. Oh my
Robert is sending
goodness.
you some love too.
Ah,
Robert is an amazing soul, and I like to, come on his live when I'm, during the day at work, during my breaks. I like to come in if he's live and say
Someone's
hello to
asking
him.
a question
So,
about someone's asking a question about the video.
about the video. Okay, go ahead, Damaris.
They didn't, the one that appeared behind the delivery person seemed
Mm-hmm.
to be tall and big. I couldn't tell
Mm-hmm.
if it was a male or female. They looked African American, and they were just tall, and they were like just busty, and they were totally, they meant business. You could tell
Yeah. Yeah.
when appeared. And then all the other ones appeared, and there were some, they were not tall, they were on the steps, so they were kind of one was taller than the other one because they were on the steps. Um, so there were small ones and taller ones, but
Was their
it was all
consciousness
love.
different? I mean, did they telepathically communicate? Because, I've heard about these different sized beings. Are they all connected? Are they different? Are they working together? Did you get any communications?
They were
Anything
there.
that you?
They were there
Mhm.
together, and what I got from them was they they were protecting me. They
They're
were making
protecting.
sure that I was
Beautiful.
okay. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. So they're beings that were operating in a consciousness of love, compassion for you, and obviously wanted to protect you. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Someone just asked that I show my parents the video. I did actually. I showed my mom the video, and I said, "Mom, let me know what you see." And she said, she saw, when I fell,
Hmm.
and then she said nothing else. And I said, "Mom, you didn't see that there were other people there?" She goes, "No." She was almost upset that I was trying. She was almost upset that I was
Hmm.
trying to get her to see something.
Ah.
And then my
See.
dad saw it. My dad,
Yeah.
he looked at it and
How'd
he
he
was like,
react?
"Oh, you fell. Nope. Oh, you fell." And then he just handed me back the phone. It was like nothing. So
Hmm.
then I asked my sister. I said, "Look, Ada, tell me what you see." And she said, "Damaris, who are all these people that were here?" He's like, "Who are these people?" She goes, "Who was the person standing behind you that was like looking over you?" She goes, "And then the camera flickers and flickers, and then all of a sudden you have a host of people there. Like,
Yeah.
where did they come from? Did they come from the neighbors? Did they come from across the street?" I was like, "No."
Hmm.
I told her, I said, "You just saw my spirit team with your own eyes."
Yeah.
She, she, she does believe in this stuff, but she doesn't like to, um, she says, "I don't want to open doors that I can't deal with." Like, I'm the only one that accepts my gift and walks toward it.
Right.
I'm the only one in my family, so that's why I'm kind of looked at differently, which is fine. I don't mind being weird.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Let's see. Damaris got something. Thank you for
Oh,
giving Damaris some gifts. Damaris, you are a beautiful soul. Of
that's so much.
course, our brothers and sisters will give you gifts. Yeah. And
My
this is,
my NDE can go on and on, so I can. I
yeah,
got
no,
we can talk.
you have an amazing story to tell, and your contact with the space people, they all look different. The ones that are protecting you, you've had so many things. Earlier, you talked about when you left your body, when you were near. I call that a near. Well, not it's not. There's no death. They call it an NDE. But you left your body. You got to see your body, but you got to see you're in between this particular time and space, and you're in between time and space. If you had gone beyond the time and space, you would have entered into a new realm of the next level of consciousness in
Well,
yourself in your life.
I went
I mean,
into
I'm glad you're here, but you know what I mean.
I went into a realm that was completely. It was like a total universe. It looked like, and I was laying upon a fountain,
Mm-hmm.
and very little water was running, and I was laid upon there, almost like I was like just waking up.
Mm-hmm.
And as I looked around, there was nothing but like space, like what space we would think space looks like, with
Mm-hmm.
stars,
Right.
and ahead there were two pillars, and those pillars were super tall, and
Yeah.
there were beings sitting on top of the pillars.
Yeah.
And in that moment, in the moment of me seeing the pillars, my entire like way of thinking changed. And I said, it was like they were showing me another like another realm or another gate. I don't even know how to put it into words, but
Yeah, an
it was
opening,
showing me that
basically. Yeah.
water is life, right? Water is running, water is life. But they were the watchers. It was they were like supreme beings. Like I felt that.
Yeah. Of
And I
course you
was
did.
just like, God, like this is where we come from. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
like an epiphany moment. Um but I saw like 6 or 7 of my deaths. Like they took me back. I saw my other lives. Um but anyway,
You say you saw your other lives. Like when you say you saw your other lives, different time periods of life.
yeah, I saw
And
my own
did you see yourself in the future, the past, the present?
I saw
What happened?
I saw myself in the past. I saw
Hmm.
my own funeral, which was super hard. That was like
Hmm.
one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And that was during that they made me watch my own funeral. When I say they, I mean malevolent forces.
Really?
They forced me. I watched the whole procession. I had to hear my sons crying. Everybody wore my favorite color. Like it was heartbreaking.
Hmm.
And every time I tried to look away, my head was held like this. Every time I tried to shut my eyes, they would hold my eyes open.
How come you weren't able to stop them? Did you know you had the power to tell them not to do that in Christ consciousness? I tell you to leave. You didn't know that, did you? That you can stop them. You could have stopped them. Now you know. If that
I
ever happened
endured
again.
that. I endured that experience, and it was,
Hmm.
oh my God, it was hard. And
Yeah.
then another time, I was kidnapped and locked in a basement. And
And
I was kidnapped and locked in a basement, and it seemed to be like in old times, like older
hmm
times. And I was locked in the basement, and I was always trying to like make noises and try to get people's attention. And I know that someone heard the noises, and at that point, the person started putting water into the basement to
hmm
drown me, and I drowned. I
And
died.
in context to this, was that in a dream or was that when did that had that happen?
That was when I was in the coma.
When you were in a coma. So when
Mhm.
you're in a coma, the benevolent beings were trying to overtake your whole being
They were trying.
and make sure that you had problems.
Yeah, they were making it really hard for me. I was having when you talk about spiritual warfare.
Hmm.
Whoa, that was I was in spiritual warfare that whole time.
Did
Um,
you know though at that time that you had the power as a light worker to tell them, I call in the Christ, Jesus, the cosmic Christ, you must
well,
leave now? Because they would have been afraid of that, just those words
I
alone.
when I was going down and when I said, God, if this is it, like I think that I sort of at that point I kind of accepted that that was my end. But then when I felt the strength of beings and angels pull me away, I was like, no, this is not negative. I'm not going to allow it to overtake me. And then, like, when that happened, they forced me to watch, and I kept trying not to. And I guess I just didn't think of, fighting back or saying no. Then another time I was in the hospital, my family couldn't find me, and I saw them through a screen, like through the wall, and I was screaming at them, "Here I am!" And there was a being that was very evil behind me, just sticking me with
Hmm.
needles, trying to put me to sleep so that I would stop screaming.
Well, now are you aware as a light worker and being from my perspective, being from another planet, Mars, working in cosmic Christ consciousness, you now know. Matter of fact, I'm being guided to do this for you. I'm going to do some energy work for you here on the show. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
Okay. The being, the cosmic Christ that I saw at my workshop is saying to me, I want to work on you. He's going to send energy into your home. It's going to affect your whole home. He's telling me that he's going to send energy that's going to affect and make sure that the benevolent beings are no longer in your energy field ever, in your consciousness. He's going to wipe them out. When I say wipe them out, I'm talking about blasting them out back where they came from. So, as a gift to you,
That's
I'm
amazing.
going to do this for you now. Okay.
Okay.
He's telling me you have to do this for her. You have to do this for her.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
going to do this on encounters. Okay.
Yes,
I
of
want you to
course.
close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes, and I might be speaking, or I'll be speaking of what he wishes me to say. Those benevolent beings that are in your energy field, within your consciousness, when you're in your sleeping state, are to leave, are to go back where they came from. They cannot fight against the Creator. They cannot fight against the Christed force of light. They are afraid of the Christed force of light. They're very afraid. Even the most evil beings are afraid of the Christed light. So we're going to kick their butt right now. We're going to work on, the Christ is working on your brain area, that's how they get into your thoughts. He's putting a protection within the cellular structure of your body. Your brain is going to be protected. Your consciousness is going to be protected. All the attachments they've had to you during your sleeping state, in your room, in your house, everything's being given back to the Creator. And when you go to sleep tonight, you're going to have clear thoughts of beauty, of light, of love. You're also going to remember more of where you came from beyond this earth. You're going to remember more of where you came from. We're not going to allow any negativity or benevolent beings in your house anymore. The Ashtar Command is going to protect you. The Ashtar Command is sent 3 to 4 beings. You'll not see them. They're going to walk through your house, and any negative entities that are there are going to be taken out, meaning taken off the planet. They're going to be sent back where they came from, and they'll never be able to come back into this dimension or into your home. You're very loved. There's so much love for you, more than you even know. So much love for you. The powers that I have are without ego, in service to others. We're working on every part of you right now. Your home, even though I'm not physically in your home, I don't have to be. The Christ says he will clear everything out. Your mother, he's saying your mother, he's going to work on her consciousness when she's sleeping to open her up. She's been controlled also by benevolent beings without realizing it. So the Christ is going to work on your mom. There's a real strong heat energy coming through with the palm of my hand, and it's going to be felt throughout your whole consciousness. Your whole body will be warming up now as he clears all that energy that's been sucked onto you. It's being released, and let go. Everything will be okay. And any energy that I'm working on here, I give it back to the Creator. I'm not holding on to anything here. I will not hold on to anything. I give it back up to God, who created the whole universe and all the life and all the love and all the love in your heart. All the love. You are loved even more than you even know. And there's nothing that can stop you from being who you are, ever. Okay. Tell me how you feel now. My hands are as hot as can be.
I feel very relaxed.
Okay.
I
When
felt
you, go ahead.
I felt a wind per se, like a wind just go through me,
Mm-hmm.
like a
He
wind path.
went through you. He went through you.
I felt that. I felt something just go through me.
Mm-hmm. He went through you. He was in your home. The energy that I did with you is still very warm here. For people that understand who I am or what I did, everything I do is real. I don't channel anything. I don't read any websites. I don't believe in anybody's agendas. I came here from another world to help the planet. So what you're seeing is me revealing what I do, what I can do.
Thank you.
And you're going to feel much better. Your mom's going to have some things happening in her dreams conflicting with her between her limitations of understanding and being conflicted with the light that is being going to be infused into her body.
I'm feeling hot.
My hands, my palm of my hands are so warm right now.
I
So just
appreciate
know that,
it so much.
well, we appreciate you and you're much loved. You're very much loved, you know?
Yeah, I love to be a help to anyone. Sometimes you just say the right thing that someone needs to hear, and to have like-minded people to talk about it is amazing.
Well, you're
So
always at home here. You know, when I do my lives, I've learned a lot by studying and being in the media. When I came on TikTok, I looked at all these people doing crazy things, and I said, this is not what it's about. You know, there's a lot more to help people.
and I know since I was very little, I've always been more fantasy like. Like I always, it's like I always lived in my own little world. That's what they would say when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mind because my world was so much fun. My imagination
Mm-hmm.
was so out there. And that's something that we lose as we get older.
Yeah.
But that's the key. The key is to keep our imagination, because when you use your imagination, you know, time is irrelevant. You get to be
Mm-hmm.
your authentic self. We forget.
Mm-hmm.
We just forget that we have to find it again.
Well, a person, friend with Ferry said, I heard a growl in the background right in the middle of the healing. Probably the growl was from a negative entity that was not happy what was going on in your home.
Oh,
And when the Christ came in, the Christ can take that growled entity and throw him into space. He'll never come back. He can't come back. I'm well protected in my space beingness.
yeah.
I'm very well protected all the time. Whatever I do to help people, I'm very well protected. They can't touch me because I work in a very high frequency.
Yeah.
They'd be electrically destroyed if they tried to even come close.
I'm not surprised about the growl because, of course they're not going to be happy. But gotta go. You
Well,
got.
they're not going to be there anymore because they're now gone. The next 24 hours, the whole energy in your house is going to shift. Let me know how that is in the next 48 hours. The next time I talk to you, you're going to tell me things are different.
Yeah, I was just talking to Courtney about it. I'm like, something's gonna change. For the last, since I fell and I fainted, I said to myself earlier that day. I said I was feeling dizzy. I said I feel like something's gonna happen. I don't know, something huge. Then I ended up fainting, and then I was like, I think that something was downloading, and it was just so much that my physical body like just couldn't take it, and it
Yeah.
and it just went. It just sort of
Mm.
happened to happen that way. But um, yeah, I appreciate you totally.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm always in a state of peace. But when the Christ works through me, it's almost being in a state of bliss, which is, I'm in a very high state of frequency because he worked through me. I'm in an extremely high frequency rate right now. My whole energy field is heated up, so to speak, and probably people will feel it even if I don't do anything. And you can stay on here with us. I
I
want
feel
to
the
also,
heat.
you can feel the heat.
I can
Yes.
feel the heat because because we connected that way.
Mm.
So I can feel, especially in my chest, like in my, I feel just heat emitting from there.
Someone's saying, Levick is saying, my brother Levick says, get rid of your Yoda toy.
Nah,
The Yoda?
Yoda. I love Star Wars. Such a Star Wars geek.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan. We've watched a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I just want to invite, if other people want to, can I jump in for a few? Mr. Destiny, yes, of course you could. We're going to bring Mr. Destiny in here.
I can always go out.
And if you want to, or you can stick around, you're welcome to stay. You don't have to leave if you want to.
Okay, I'll stick around.
Uh, we love everybody here. And Mr. Destiny's not a stranger to the show. Good evening. Welcome to the show, Mr. Destiny.
Good evening, Commander. How's everyone doing?
Hi, Mr.
We're
Destiny.
doing good. We did some major work with Damaris, so we're doing really good.
Good. That's awesome. Glad to hear. I don't normally jump in, but I'm preparing myself to make some changes, and you've been very helpful with that. I expressed my appreciation in the past. So, chat.
You too.
I'm ex-CIA. I am a contactee. Um, I'm a remote viewer. I taught people how to remote view, and I told you how to out of body experience because when it comes to espionage, these are the most significant ways to obtain information. We use specialized equipment. My contact told me he's from here. He told me he's from here, but his parents are from Mars.
Mm-hmm.
I challenged him. He proved it. Um, so from '99 till about 2009, I worked for Uncle Sam. My diplomatic immunity ends in 2034. I'll be in my 50s. So with that, I again encourage you to ask questions, encourage you to do your own research. I spent a considerable amount of time with my contact. I have a contact and I have an individual that I've been quote unquote assigned to. So with that being said, what I've talked to my contact about was religion, spirituality, the government, and I also left the planet on different
Mm-hmm.
occasions. One, I wanted to see what it looked like from out there, and I've spoke on the distance, which is about 280 to 300 miles away from the surface of the planet.
Right.
And we talked about the time variations, where if you're about that distance away, it'll take about 23 minutes for a day to go by. Whereas, of course, if you're on the surface, it takes 24 hours for one soul cycle.
Yeah,
So with
that's
that
right.
being said, chat, I encourage you to ask questions. If I don't know, I will tell you I do not know. There's some things that is classified, and there's some things that I would like for people to know. So I'll try to be, kind of not vague. I don't want to speak in
Right.
parables, but I think I'll try to answer your question if it's something I can.
Well, I'm going to ask
So
you a question, Mr. Destiny, because you have worked in the CIA, you're former CIA. You still must have contacts with people in different intel agencies, maybe even the DoD, for that example. So I'm going to be the first one to ask a question. I'll get the ball rolling. Where do you see the disclosure hearings in Washington going from your perspective? Have you had any contact with people that are involved in that level of the cover-up? And can you tell us what you know?
yeah, absolutely. That is a good question, particularly nowadays.
There we go.
When the whole thing was going down with Trump, I don't know if you all know about the hearing. Grouse
Mm-hmm.
was there. Greer wasn't there, but yeah, I
Yeah.
got a lot of contacts. I got a lot of contacts at the DOJ, the DOD, of course, the company. We call it the
Yeah.
company. Um, so yeah, all right. So there is going to be an invasion. It's not going to be fake. There are holographic equipment in place. Um, Planned. It's not something that's going to be a surprise to a lot of us. Now, I say that because Damaris you spoke on something that was interesting, and just stay with me for a second. When it comes to having out-of-body experience in remote viewing, you reach a certain echelon. And with that being said, you are able to disseminate what's called signal to noise ratio. Now, in remote viewing community, what that means is internal dialogue is just noise. You can silence your internal dialogue, like I told you. You can see how long you can go without having any thoughts. That way you can disseminate what is actual signal from your soul as opposed to noise. So once you reach this echelon, then you'll be able to communicate telepathically, or what's naturally is a spiritual, is non-verbal communication is natural. Verbal communication is what we have to learn, of course, and so on and so on. So once you reach this echelon, and a lot of people who are in these departments, DOD, DOJ, some in the FBI, of course, in the company, the Central Intel, they're able to
NSA, Naval Intelligence,
NSA,
even, too.
yeah, NSA is included, right? Snowden's an honest man, so you were able to communicate telepathically. So it's not going to be a surprise. It is pre-planned, but it's not something that you should be worried about. Okay, so yes, we are going to be invaded. It's been clandestine. We have all been visited. This is an election. When asked about the abduction scenario, he told me it was a breeding experiment. Right? I told you I spent some time with my contact. I asked him about Jesus, and it was something interesting that caught my attention because the way it came about, I was a little naive. Like, I was surprised. He told me first I couldn't look in his eyes. It was the middle of the night. He was wearing sunglasses. He finally showed me his eyes. He said things like, when you close your eyes, you see darkness. When I close my eyes, I see light. See, he was infused, right? I talked about transference. Transference is the blending of man and machine. So apparently, from what I observed and from what he explained to me, he has some type of chip implanted. And I don't know if this goes for all operatives, but this particular contact I made.
For him, anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
For him.
yeah. He told me his name was Q because I probably couldn't pronounce his name. So I call him Q, He talked to me about Jesus. I asked him about Jesus. He told me Jesus never left.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we can get into a little bit of that. But again, I want to get to this thing. There's so many people on the internet, and my mission here, coming from another place, is I stay away from all people's agendas, opinions, websites. That's what they have me doing. They say, Commander, keep it clear, keep it clear. We will give you the information off planet, and that's where I get my information. And it's always been right on. So my question would be is, this so-called invasion, even people that get on the internet, on Facebook, they talk about this, this invasion. What I can contribute to what we're saying, Mr. Destiny, is that there's going to be not an invasion, and maybe I'm talking about a whole different thing, but from the couple of things, including my contact in the DOD, who's been on here a number of times, and she's right on the money, confirmed that in 2027, which I'm getting a very strong confirmation, will be contacts, or the beginnings of contacts with the Palladians. And that is something that I feel I keep getting. Yes, that is the beginning of it. However that works out, we're all living here. However they play it out in terms of they're coming here to reconnect with everyone who's awakened, and they've been wanting to come here for a long time. So can you tell us the difference between the definition of what this invasion thing is versus what my information is of a beautiful connection from the Palladians, which are the closest system near us, in terms of what you're talking about? Can you get more specific about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So one thing that you mentioned, you called them extraterrestrials, biological entities, or there's many different
Oh,
titles.
Palladians.
I told you, well, Palladians, but they don't like to be called aliens. Let's just get that out there. They have names.
Yeah, we don't
They have
call
names.
them aliens. We call them
Right.
Palladians. They're people.
Okay. And they're also a member of the council, the Federation.
Right.
Right. So it's more like a reclamation. It's more like the reclaiming, what I'm saying, their particular area. Right. So when Obama was in office, there was an installation set up in the Pacific Basin. All right. So we were tasked to look at that. So it's more like a reclaiming, right? So it's not going to be a violent, all out Armageddon type of shit. It's going to be more so passive. You know what I'm saying? And there's a majority of people who are more so allowing it to happen as opposed to not allowing it to happen, if that makes sense, right? Because you know yourself not to delve into to what's fruitless, you know, because there's more disinformation than there is information. Obviously, we all know that, and
A
it
lot
takes
of it's on
time.
the internet. A lot
And
of it's
thank
on
you.
the web.
And it takes quite a number of years to really ascertain what's going on. Now, I'm gonna point this out to you right quick. Just think about this, right? One of the targets that we were asked to remote view, it was a craft. It was a man-made craft, and on this particular craft, they put a new propulsionary system on. I don't know if some of your people in the chat might be familiar with certain propulsionary systems.
Right.
Supra, not superluminal, supraluminal. So this was essentially warp drive. So what they did is they flew it out over to the Andromeda, right? They were testing it out. I talked to you on one of the streams about how anti-gravity came about,
Right.
how they slapped it on the submarine because it's pressurized no matter how far up it goes or how deep it goes. So with this particular craft, they sent it to the Andromeda star system. Now check this out, right? Just as a side note, because it's interesting, and like I said, it's still ongoing. So when they
Mm-hmm.
got there, they detected 8 Earth-like planets, right? On 6 of them, they detected radio frequencies, and on 2 of them, they heard some of the civilians or some of the inhabitants talking English.
Right.
So essentially, the data says this: where we are is a compressed learning system. I learned this in the Monroe Institute in
Mm-hmm.
in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
This is a compressed learning system. We talked about how to develop your psychic abilities or your natural spiritual abilities, how to go about doing that. But once you do that, you'll again connect that mind from the conscious mind to the spiritual mind. That's what Damaris should understand. Because once you know how to silence your internal dialogue, you're able to have a psychic defense. So these
Yeah.
disembodied spirits or these negative energies, they can't tamper with your psyche.
And they
No
can't do
fear.
it also, Mr. Destiny, because the thing that I did with her tonight, I was guided to do, and I hadn't planned on it, is that I have this ability that I'm humbled, that I've been given months ago that I never knew I had, to help clear things. And I know her energy and her home are going to be so different within 24 hours. They keep telling me, my connection says she has nothing to worry about. They've been sent away. They're gone. You know, so all that beautiful energy
Awesome.
is there. You know, it's
Good.
really a beautiful thing. We love you, Damaris, and we just, I'm glad that you were here tonight, because when you
Me
told me
too.
that story, they said we got to do something for her.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm on too. Thank you,
Sometimes
Mr.
these things
Destiny.
are difficult to talk about, you know, and I have so
Yeah,
much that I like to share with people, man. And I'm hesitant because in order to know one thing, I have to tell you about another thing for you to get the
Yep.
concept
right.
about the whole thing. We all
And
understand
you know
that,
what?
right?
And we all have, Mr. Destiny does, all the guests I've had on here are a collective part of the galactic puzzle. Mr. Destiny has that part. I have that part. You have that part, Damaris. Everyone in this room has a part to play in this beautiful time. It's a great time to be alive. With all the crazy stuff going on in the world, which is a diversion, just look at the future of our planet, the future of the universe, and realize that we are so close to having some beautiful contacts happening.
Oh
Even
yeah.
Dr. Greer talks about it in so many ways in his conferences. He's even talking about it because it's true. There's so many words from people. I know Dr. Stephen Greer, when I interviewed him years ago, what he's saying is absolutely true. Do I think everything he's saying is absolutely correct? I don't think anything anybody says is absolutely 100% correct. But what he's saying about what's coming up with the contact, he confirms everything my DOD contact says, what Mr. Destiny says about, also contact in your own way of saying it. We have our space brothers and sisters that are coming back. They've been here before our current humanity. They've been here for billions of years. This planet is billions of years old. And we have this energy that is going to switch everything around. And so the people that's real threatened by it are the old timers in the Pentagon, these generals and these people that don't want people to know the truth. Well, you can't stop people from knowing the truth when all of us, including my guests that are on here, have their own experiences, have had positions where they've seen things like remote viewing, Mr. Destiny, and some of my other guests. You can't stop it. We're all together really a part of a greater puzzle that is coming together, which is disclosure. And
Well
just look at
said.
yourself. That's what it is.
Good point. Well
Yeah,
said. Yes, sir.
definitely.
You
All
know?
right, so can I tie it back around with this? But it's a
Yeah, go
very
ahead. Go
it's
ahead.
a relief. It's such a pleasure, and I don't get on here often, and I'm gonna
I know
start
you don't.
streaming more and more. All right, so okay, Credo Mutwa, Credo Mutwa, Mutwa, Credo Mutwa. He was interviewed by David Icke a couple of years ago. See
Who is
these
he?
old. He was a Zulu shaman, one of the last Zulu shamans,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about his endeavors becoming a Freemason. Now I talked about that, and I told you I'm not a Mason. I have nothing against
Right. You're not
Masons,
connected with that.
right. But what they do is teach witchcraft. It's dark and it's light, right? And the new adepts, they really have no choice. But I only say that because you mentioned some of these old coots and warhounds up in the Pentagon, right? And certain lodges teach certain shit, and you could probably look up nowadays, and it's a big thing on TikTok talking about shadow work and talking about, you know, essentially it's hypnotism. Also, they use certain chemicals and herbs, and sometimes they smoke it or drink it, and it has certain physiological effects. And we mentioned DMT, how that was a ritual in a Masonic lodge. It allows you to see spiritual things with your physical eye. You do the research. But these old warhounds, they don't want to let it go. And it's not about black or white anymore. I got to say that, right? Because it's about green. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to keep their pockets padded with the hard work that you do and I do, right? So it's about saying, okay, enough is enough, right? We want disclosure. What we got to do is, first of all, we got to keep our money in our pocket. I was just talking to somebody today, and check me out, hear me out now, chat. I
Mm-hmm.
was telling somebody today how now there's the man's law, Black's law, and then there's God's law. In God's law, it's illegal to tithe. And they were saying, well, why do you say that? Well, because God doesn't want you to take your money and throw it in the hat. If the church needs to fix the lights, the church is going to find a way, right? That's why he flipped over the tables in the temple. Now, I said, if I get out here with a bullhorn, Commander, and I start saying, hey, don't tithe because it's a trick. It's a way to keep the money, right? It's been going on for a long time. The Pope just gave up his assets. I don't know if you know about that.
No, I'm so far removed from religion on this planet. I'm more focused on the cosmic.
I agree, but
I'm
we're
so
talking
far removed from
currency flow.
news.
We're talking currency flow.
Right.
So coming around 2027, closer to 2030, we're going to probably, the word is, from my people, they say they're going to try to reevaluate the Constitution. And then they're going to go after religion because there's so much science that's already disproved a lot of the shit that keep people brainwashed. Someone mentioned it. Well, religion is a tool to deter people from science, right? Nuwabic science gave birth to Masonic science, the beings that came from Venus. And Masonic science gave birth to religion. There it is. And I'm a minister because I have fellowship everywhere I go. That's another reason why we come together tonight. There it is, chat.
All right. And if anyone has any questions for Damaris or Mr. Destiny, or if you'd like to come on as a guest on our show, don't feel afraid to share your encounters and visitations with the space people, whatever they are. We've had so many different varied experiences here, and we're going till 1 o'clock tonight. So we're on the East Coast. We're going to limit it to 1 p.m. I'm not going to do the 2 p.m. deal, 2 a.m. deal. The commander has to get some physical rest as well, because we do these late night shows. But,
Yes, sir.
so I want people to come on here, share your stories. We've got about, until 1 p.m., 1 a.m. I keep saying 1 p.m. That's not going to happen.
All right.
But if you want to join Mr. Destiny, Damaris, or me, if you have any questions for my guests, please, ask those questions because we're looking
Can
at
I
your
start
comments
with
right
this
now.
one? Commander, someone asked,
Yeah.
can I explain Freemason? Okay, this is the way it is explained to me, right? See, in Freemasonry, there's operatives, there's inoperatives. Operatives are those individuals in the lodge who are in contact telepathically with each other to reach a certain objective. Non-operatives are people who are like sleeping cells, if that makes sense. And different lodges teach different shit. So if you go to one lodge and you see, where I'm from, you can become a master mason in 6 months. Whereas if you go to like Britain, it takes you like 7 years to complete a degree. Now, Prince Hall was the only mason who went to Europe in the 1700s and got permission to teach the witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So again, spells and incantations, call and response. This is what they do in the lodge. They do a lot of community work. It's different from different people. From what I understand, you get in and get out. I don't know. I've never joined, but I know Master Masons who shared some secrets with me, and they were punished in their lodge. I won't say what the punishment was. Now, how the lodge found out, I do not know. But again, remote viewing is something that's also taught in the lodge. Remote viewing has been something that's been going on forever. As long as the spirit's been alive, remote viewing is a way. It's like a side note.
Yeah.
And we see bilocation. She mentioned bilocation. See, that's what got my attention, Commander. See, you mentioned bilocation. And if you go back and you study Robert Monroe work, the founder of the Monroe Institute, you'll understand that bilocation is essentially going into the mind sleep state, mind awake, body sleep state. You call it sleep paralysis. Nothing to fear, because you can perform certain techniques to quote unquote roll out of the body and then travel from there. Most master masons have out-of-body experiences, whether they drink a drink or they perform certain techniques.
I'm going to also do a promotional thing here. Please, also, we have a new guest on, Cosmic Ray. Got Cosmic Ray's question. We have Mr. Destiny, the Marathon here, Cosmic Ray.
Welcome.
Can anyone explain bizarre markings that won't wash off my bedroom window? My room is the only one. Cosmic Ray, you want to come on here? I really am interested in your story.
Yes, I'm trying to figure out the camera so I can show you.
Oh, it's easy. So on the TikTok thing, there's a microphone. There should be a little icon. It looks like a camera.
Okay,
So
there we are.
you press that and press save. And I've technically helped numerous people on here. There you go. You got it. You're all set. So welcome to the show.
It's easier to see during the day, but there's these lines that go straight across. And then from the outside, you'll see like blue. And it's been since 2020. I've been working with a lot of different ritual cleanses over the years. And this is the most bizarre. I used to hear like a thud.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me. I won't get let's see if I can stand this way. My room's a little messy, so bear with it.
No worries. Is it like is it permanently on the windows, or can you wipe it off?
Yes, because I popped this off in the screen because it's up high, like 4 stories high, my bedroom, and it won't come off. I've cleaned both sides. I did have an individual come live with me from New Orleans, and his eyes would change completely black. And I telepathically my spirit team had him leave. Let me see if I can flip the camera around. Let's see if I can get this off. Sorry.
Interesting.
But so also as well, I worked with what was called the Devil's Shoestring for a ritual cleanse.
Uh-oh. What happened to your microphone?
Someone asked real briefly, someone asked in the chat, do they eat food and drink? Yes, they do. Some ingest it differently. My contact, when I saw him eat, it was like a paste painted on his skin. And all at once, he absorbed it. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with some of the abduction scenarios, but some of the women who have been impregnated said that they've been visited and they've been shown the baby and been asked to feed the child.
Yeah.
Where they had painted the liquid onto the baby and the baby absorbed it all in one go.
Wow.
I know it sounds strange. Yeah. But different. Yes, food and drink. Then when I asked him about like what do you do for a living? And his response was some of the same stuff you guys do.
We lost. She disappeared as she was. I'm hoping she's all right. She was just about ready to tell us some more stuff. Weird things do happen on my show, folks. I can't make this stuff up. In all the times and everything in my life, I've experienced so many interesting things without the whole thing here. But if you're out there, Cosmic, I hope you're out there. When something happened, you were getting to get into something and you just like disappeared. So we're going to hope that she's all right. And we're coming up towards 1 o'clock. I just want to say, please support our show, all the great people we have on here, Mr. Destiny, who found our show, and Damaris, who we did some work with earlier, with the Christ healing energies, and just the whole idea of what we're doing. We definitely want your support. You can go to my Cash App. My moderators are on here. Go to CmdrAleon 2022 before we end the show at 1. Make a donation of whatever you want, $5, $10, or $15. It goes to the general work we're doing, and I'm also the moderator, not the moderator, but the co-creator of our Ashtar Command contact group, which is going to be out live Saturday night around 8 o'clock. I'll have more information on TikTok. We'll be making a video, or one of my coordinators on TikTok will be doing that, and we're going to be doing a C5 to make contact with our space brothers and sisters. So I want you to know that now. It's going to be something. It's going to be a clear night in New England, and we expect we'll have some very, very interesting things to show you live, and it'll be recorded and also on my YouTube channel. So I just want to plug my show that way and plug also any gifts. Anybody has any galaxies or anything you want to donate as a gift now before the show's over, please do it. If you have what they call the TikTok coins, those imaginary coins you load up. And so if you have enough to do anything like that, please do it. You can support us by doing that tonight too. I want to give some last words to Mr. Destiny and also Damaris. You've been great. I'm glad we worked with you. I'm glad we were able to clear the energies in your home. And you're going to have some beautiful dreams tonight, really. So I thank you for sharing your story so much so. It was important.
I can't wait to share them with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Mr. Destiny, thank you so much for the work you're doing. I have one last, so we also know that things are happening. I have some last questions about the intelligence community, specifically about upcoming hearings. We know that there's a push by Congress, and thank you so much, Slate, for that. That's beautiful. That we know that there's going to be more hearings, that the Senate is pushing on a bill that's going to, push the DOD to have to come forward with information in terms of UAPs and what's going on that they're keeping concealed. So what do you see? What do you know from your contacts before we go right now that's happening behind the scenes? Can you tell us?
Yeah, we're trying to prevent a civil war right now. My contacts are telling me, the FBI is looking into trying to, there's some false flag events coming up, and then this election's coming up. So right now they're trying to stave off a civil war. It's a joke to them, man. It's unfortunate, but they don't think it seriously. Now, certain people, let me just the one more thought I was gonna say before I get out of face. Technology has gotten to such an extent to where, the United States government has a certain department for hunting demons, literally demons, and they use certain equipment.
Like Hellboy.
Some of that equipment has been stolen, right? So they're on a scramble. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but they're on a scramble to recover some of the property and merchandise that has been stolen. If it's not recovered, then it's going to be used, and that's going to be a whole nother explosion. So they're trying to keep that down, right? So they're trying to keep, people passive. There's more and more of us who are breaking out of the mold by having out-of-body experiences, because just by me telling you something, it might not be good enough, chat, but you got to do your research. You got to ask questions. You got to look inside in order for the change to happen outside. So yes, we'll get to that, but in the next couple of years, it's going to get a little rough. I hate to say that because we're looking at Baja right now, because something, and we're looking at this blackout that's going to happen in New York.
Okay, now when you say blackout, again, being the news person and studying media and broadcast journalism, how do we know there's going to be a blackout in New York?
Sabotage. Sabotage. You know, this country's been at war silently for quite a while now. The air is poisoned, the water's poisoned, and the food. And I love this country. There's certain things I don't like, but it is actually one of the best countries in a lot of ways. Maybe not in education, maybe not in healthcare, but we have first of all, we have the largest living army.
But aren't we coming into a situation where it's not about your country versus my country? That's been part of the whole illusion on this planet, being from another world, that everyone's friction between societies. This is your border, this is my border. When you look at the planet from where I come from, off planet, you just see one planet called Earth. On other planetary worlds like Mars, there are no religions, there are no politics, there are no things like that. So I don't, my conscience is fully awakened. I don't understand all these different things when I get the things that are different, that when contact happens, it will change the dynamics of the fear, the dynamics of the hate, the dynamics of the vision. It won't matter what the color of a person's skin is to a person from another planet, because on other planets, there are people of all different races and whatever, colors, black, white, purple, blue, whatever. They don't look from other worlds on the color of a person's skin, what their belief systems are, because there are no separations, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Good point. Can I? Yes, sir. Good point. I just want to say something though, because contact has already been made. It just hasn't been made on a large enough scale.
Right. That's right. That is true.
The push for technology, right?
Were in the 50s and 60s. The out of print books. My dear friend Athena knew every single contactee at Giant Rock. If people study that history, these people went on board spaceships. And how do you think they wrote these books that are out of print? They were in print years ago. They wrote about a diary of their experiences with beautiful people they called themselves Venusians. Now, they might have been from another planet that wasn't Venus, but they said they were Venusians, or they were this, or they were that. But they initiated the first contacts on Earth with these people. Study Omnionic, a friend of mine. She wrote a book, From Venus I Came. It's a classic. It's out of print. But read that book, and she'll talk about Venus and the beautiful things of her planet. These are the things I know, but we all come from different dynamics, and that's how we come together. So it depends on the timeline. We can choose the timelines we wish to have, and these are all timelines. So do we choose the timeline of peaceful contact, or do we choose the timeline of possible things that are going to be negative? It's all about timeline,
I asked Q about climate change. He said we're heading towards another ice age.
Maybe not. There's no way of knowing that.
The government's going to tell you everything in reverse. I don't trust them. I know them in and out. I don't trust the FBI. See, I don't trust the American Dental Association.
I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them because I'm from Mars. So I don't trust any of you folks on Earth. I have to question even the people that I should trust. I question everybody. And I'll always do that because...
I did. I asked Q about that. I said, well, what do you think about the government, man? Let me tell you the exact words. Forgive me for saying it like this, but this is my contact's exact word. Yeah. I said, have you all been in contact with the government? He said, quote unquote, we don't fuck with them. That's exactly what he told me, Commander.
Yeah. Well, again, whoever this Q is, whatever timeline or frequency he's at, from my perspective of the people I deal with the Ashtar, the level, Kadar Manka, I get a complete different information than what this Q is getting. And, again, he could be operating on a completely different timeline frequency than the frequency you or I might be operating on. And I tell people, don't ever put your coins in one bottle. Spread your coins out a bit. What I mean is, if you depend on one person as having the sole information, don't trust that, because it might not be true.
I have a healthy degree of skepticism, but he proved a lot of the things that I was asking him to do at the time, man.
Right.
He told me he could speak every language ever known to man. He told me he could turn invisible. This guy.
But again, don't put all your eggs in one apple or in one bowl, because there's plenty of other apples and other jars and other whatevers out there that you'll find totally different information that's just as accurate. And that's why, if we put our consciousness into one person, we can live that reality that that person's saying, like this Q, or we can find another person from another planet come to you and say, this is what's going to happen. And you'll say, that's credible information. Thank you. Then you have to decide whose information is accurate. So always, that's my skepticism always comes in on things like this. I'll never, I'm getting that this Q might have some accurate information in his timeline, but it doesn't conform to what I see happening on the planet. Not at all, actually.
I seek insight. I'm always open. I love to hear about, I want to learn.
Well, that's why you're here. That's why we're here together. You're seeking insight. Yeah, absolutely. You should always do that. Well, it's getting to be, speaking of insight, my brother and Damaris, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying to discipline myself here as talk show host. So everybody just, be positive, love each other, hug each other. Let's have a little group hug here on the show, and everyone just, be who you are. Follow your heart, follow your higher self. Don't follow anything else other than what you get from your higher self. Your higher self connects with the source of creation. Your higher self will tell you what the truth is. The truth lies within you, not without you. So I want everyone to remember that. And I just want to thank you all for being here. All the people that gifted us, please go to my CmdrAleon 2022. I want to thank Mr. Destiny for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Sharing his information. Damaris, I want you to have a peaceful night, and I really, truly know that things are going to be better. I'm very interested to see how your mom reacts to you, because she's going to be having some dreams that are going to kind of break her consciousness a little bit tonight.
Let's see if she shares.
We'll find out.
Share her dreams with me. Oh, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, let me know. And before I go, before 1 o'clock, if there's anyone else who wants to give a galaxy or a spaceship or something, please do that. That's the lighthearted part of the show, is that shows your support for the show. If you believe in everything we're doing, the work we're doing here with our guests, all different perspectives of the cosmic, we let everyone, and everyone here is honored, and people, that's why they come here, because we honor people. You don't argue with people. Oh, thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate that. Anybody else? What's the second person out there? Anybody else with a galaxy? Whatever it is, it's okay. Little gifts, big gifts, roses. Thank you, Carol. Shelly, thank you. Everybody's here. I'm going to sign off here. Mr. Destiny, keep on keeping on, brother, and, do the work you're doing, but always, like you say, with the Q thing, that's okay, but there's other things going on that I don't see the Q thing as completely accurate. But I love you, and I know you're going to be, you're an independent thinker, so you'll do your own thing, so I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. As always, a pleasure. Yes, sir. I look forward to talking with you more, and I love you all, man. Y'all have a peaceful night. Peace.
Yes. And
have a good night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, and I want to thank, who am I thanking here? Let's see. Thank you, Captain Apostle Paul, for the galaxy, brother. You're a blessing. And he had a great story to tell us the other night. I'm going to let everybody go. Be at peace. I send my love and energy to everybody here. And I'm going to send you off here. Have a beautiful night. And thank you thank you again. Somebody just sent me superpower. Okay, I'm trying to, Captain Apostle, somebody else sent me a galaxy. Who was that? Let me see here. Oh, late freight trucker. Thank you for the galaxy, man. Thank you, everybody. I love you all, I'll be on tomorrow night, and we'll be live tomorrow night. So hopefully around 10:30. We're going to try to start early, like I'm trying to get on early. Friends, and with fairies, we love you too. Thanks for being here. And again, we'll catch you all again soon. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good morning. This is Encounters, the late night UFO talk show.